All right, here is our function, and they want us to find the zeros. Then we need to give the multiplicity of each zero. And then they want to know if the graph crosses or bounces at that zero. So the first thing we need to do is we need to set this equal to 0. X to the third plus 9x squared minus 16x minus 144 equals 0. And then we're going to solve for 0. This is a 4-term polynomial, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's different ways to solve this, but the way that I'm going to do it, because it works for this one, is I'm going to use factor by grouping. Okay? And when you factor by grouping, you're going to group the first two, and then you're going to group the second two. Out of the first two, we're going to take out an x squared, and we'll be left with x plus 9. Drop down this minus, and out of the second two, we're going to take out 16. And that factors out, giving me x plus 9. Okay, don't forget, if we are taking out a negative 16, this sign will change. And now when you look at the blue and the red, you're going to see that that x plus 9 can be factored out. And you will be left with x squared minus 16. Okay, so for a better explanation of, let me write it down right here, FBG, factor by grouping, okay, take a look at the video in the comments of factor by grouping. I'll explain this in more detail. But now that this is factored, well, it's not factored completely. I can factor this, right? X squared minus 16. So x squared minus 16 is the difference of two squares, which is x plus 4, x minus 4. Okay, and you may want to also look up the difference of two squares. Now, every one of these factors can be 0, because if any one of them is 0, if this thing is 0, the whole thing is 0. Right? And if this thing is 0, then the whole thing is 0. Anything times 0 gives you a 0. So I'm going to set all of my factors equal to 0. And this is how I'm going to get my zeros. First, x equals negative 9, that's one of my zeros. Then x equals negative 4, that's another 0. And then x equals positive 4. So here are my 3 zeros. Next, they're going to want to ask, what's the multiplicity of each 0? They want to know what the multiplicity is. Well, this one only happens one time. So let me write multiplicity. Multiplicity. This one only happens once, okay? I don't see it here or here. So the multiplicity is going to be 1. This one only happens once, negative 4, and this one only happens once, 4. So the multiplicity for each one of these zeros is 1. And at the multiplicity of 1, if it's odd, then this is going to cross the graph. Okay, this is also going to cross the graph, and this is going to cross the graph. Remembering that if you have a multiplicity that is even, then it is going to bounce off. Okay, it is going to, if you're looking at your graph, and let's say we have a 0 right here, if it's even, that means the graph is going to touch and turn around at that spot. All right, like this. Boing, it bounces off. But if it's an odd multiplicity, then it is going to cross straight through. So because the multiplicity of all of these are odd, let me write this down. This is odd, this one is odd, and this one is odd. So if it happens once, or if it happens 3 times, or 5 times, then it is going to cross. But if you see a 0 that has a multiplicity of a 2 or a 4 or a 6 or an 8 or something like that, then it will touch and turn around.